Oh, there's nothing like a good coughing fit 10 seconds before you go on camera to really make you feel good. Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Side Hustles, Side Hustle Ideas. I am Bill, the company's expert, and this is not about me. This is about you. If you are someone who is thinking of doing a side hustle, of supplementing your income, maybe you have a day job and you want to do something on the side to make a little extra money, or you might even be between jobs and you want to do something constructive in the meantime, well, we're here to talk about that. Welcome. And I see there's 5 of you here. Thank you for being here. You guys are awesome. And I am still playing with the format of the show. It's only episode number 5. So I would encourage everyone to get in the chat early in this show. So if you have a question about side hustles, get in the chat. You should see the chat right next to my video and type in your question, and I will do my best to help you to answer and share what I know about this wonderful, exciting world. I wanted to start today by saying that if you are here, that is a sign of you are taking steps into a larger world. And there are so many advantages of doing your own business type venture on the side. It is unbelievable because up until this point, in order for you to make money, you have had to go through somebody else. You have had to get a job. You've had to get the permission and live under the thumb of somebody else. And the beautiful thing about doing something on the side by yourself is that you no longer have to do that. You will learn the secret of being able to make money by yourself. And there are incredible advantages of this. The first and obvious one, obviously, is that you make more money. You supplement your income. We all know that. But what nobody really talks about is that you are learning the secret of generating wealth, generating money by yourself. What this means is that you will never be out of a job ever again. Okay, that's the great advantage of this because you know what to do. Okay, it is an incredible opportunity. So that's one of the great things. The other thing, of course, is that you get to do exactly what you want and you get to do it exactly your own way. How many people here have had a job where you've been able to experience that? You know, usually you're following orders, you're following instructions. Somebody tells you how to work and what to work on and when to work and exactly how to do every little thing. You don't really get a lot of decision-making ability to determine how you do things. Okay. And you get, there are some positions where you do get a bit of leeway to do things kind of the way you want, but still you're not really at the helm. You know, you get to decide the details, but you're not really deciding what to do. And the great advantage of this is that if you can figure out a better way of doing things, you get a reward. You make more money and you get an easier job. It's just that simple. So for that reason, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. That's what we're here to talk about. So get in the chat and let me know what your side hustle questions are. Okay. Once again, just like last time, I don't have a huge plan or script for this live stream. I'm here to help you guys. So there's 15 of you here. Get in the chat. Let me know what your questions are. Let me know what you're thinking. And we'll go from there because that's the whole point of doing this as a live stream after all, as opposed to a video. Yes. You know, this is the thing. There are a few myths that are often repeated by people in this world that, want to do startup businesses and side hustles and things like this. And, it's the biggest one, I think, the biggest thing that I've had to come across is that this requires astronomical amounts of money to get started. That is not the case. I've talked about this before. I believe that this is caused by Hollywood. Hollywood gives everyone the impression that, if you want to be in business, it works like Silicon Valley, right? Where you stake huge amounts of money. People stake their life savings and then some. They go and they borrow a ton of money. You don't have to do that. This is a learning experience. And in fact, the way this works is you are sort of hacking. How can I say this in a way that doesn't sound totally insipid? You are hacking the world. You are discovering how the world works and how people work. Okay, because everybody starts off with a theory. They theorize that, oh, if I only do this, then people will buy it and I will make a ton of money. This is their theory. Okay, it's a guess. You're making this prediction about the world. Okay. And the great thing about this process is that you are going to validate that theory. You're going to then follow through with this plan. This is your theory. If I only do this, then I will make money. Well, when you actually do this, and this, we're going to see if that holds up. Okay. And that's the adventure that you're on when you get into this. So here we go. We got some people using the chat. Thank you so much. The person that wins the prize for the first person in the chat is Yusef. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Yusef. Yes, you're waiting to be here, and that's really, really cool. I'm very flattered. Hopefully, I can live up to your expectations. Ice Cold Wasim says, hi, Mr. Bill. Yusef, good morning, sir. Here we go. Now, QSR says, greetings from Romania. Romania. I always get mixed up between Romania, Bulgaria, and Hungary. Okay, let me see if I get this right. So Hungary, it's Budapest. Romania is Bucharest. And Hungary is Sofia. Or did I goof that up? Let me know in the chat. My memory is not what it was. QSR says, greetings from Romania. I've recommended your channel to a guy on a gaming stream channel. He said he was going to have an interview to a job tomorrow. Okay, good. Well, hopefully by looking at my videos or whatever, he can get some value. Arizona Native says, I can't stay on. I have to work, but my greatest struggle is figuring out which side hustle to do. Yes, and you are not alone, Arizona Native. And listen, nobody can tell you the answer to that. Okay, you can get suggestions, but ultimately it comes down to what you can do and what you enjoy doing and what the opportunities are for you. Okay, if you know people that would be interested in something, maybe that something would be an opportunity. Okay, but the biggest indicator of what to do probably is going to begin with what your capabilities are. Okay, if you know how to do things that other people would find useful, whether that's selling, like making a certain product to sell or providing a service, okay, that's usually going to be the starting point. So it's almost like you have to go inward at the very beginning and see like, okay, what could I do? I can do this, I can do that. You know, do you have any skills that would be useful if you ever helped somebody? You know, you can start with that. You know, what do you know how to do? Another source can be what you do as a day job. Because if you work in a certain industry as your day job and you have certain knowledge, it might be insider knowledge of that industry, how things are done, who they sell it to, what the selling point is, who those people are that buy it. If you know that, that can also be a starting point to determine what you might do on the side. Okay. You really have to think through the details, but these are a couple of possible starting points. Okay. So if you have to go, we don't have a lot of time to get into it, but that can be a starting point. So start thinking about those. Start writing some options down, or at least in your head, just taking note of some possibilities. Okay. Yvonne says, good morning, Bill. I hope you're feeling better. I'm still under the weather, but I am feeling better. Yes, just crushing weakness was my experience over the weekend. But thank you for asking. Good afternoon, sir. Greetings from GB, Great Britain. Incline. Welcome, Great Britain. Welcome, Incline from Great Britain. I would love to get back there. I used to go every year, and it's been a while. Incline. I'm basically from London. Well, I basically think London is awesome. Living there would be a hell of a challenge, but it is an amazing place to visit. Absolutely amazing. I loved every minute I was in London. There's so many things within a very small space that are like, you know, have such historic significance. I'd never seen anything like it before. Bernard says, Mr. Bill, also talk about how long side hustle takes before it gets going. The timeline. Well, listen, the timeline is highly variable. What you're basically on is you're on a learning experience. Okay. like I was starting to say in the beginning, it's like you start with a theory, okay? My theory is that if I do this, 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 and this, I will make money in this way. I will make this much money. I will make money from these sources. This will be the timeline of how much money I make. Okay, it's a theory. It's a guess, okay? Now, if you've never done this before, what are the odds that you're guessing correctly? It's kind of like playing a hole-in-one in golf, okay? It's like, it's a 1,000,000 to 1 chance that you got it all perfectly right, okay? If you've done it many times before and you've done very similar things before, the odds are much greater that you guess correctly, okay? So what does this mean? This means, number one, my recommendation, the number one thing I recommend to people is, if you're going to do this, do not spend a ton of money to test that prediction, okay? If you propose a plan that's going to require $100,000 of your own money to do, might be a bad idea, okay? Because the odds of guessing correctly at the very beginning, especially if it's something that you don't really know because you've never done it before, you've never been in that world doing it, chances are it's not going to work out. So this is the key, okay? If you could do something that takes very, very little money, practically no money to start up, that would be a great starting point, okay? And like we were talking about last week, some suggestions are like, let's pretend hypothetically that you know how to fix kitchens. I don't know. You know how to fix somebody's roof of their house. You can do that now. You have the tools you have a garage and you have the tools and you have a car and you can go and you can fix somebody's roof. You have the capabilities of doing that right now. What would it take to then add the marketing component, the ability to sell that, the ability to connect with people who might need their roof fixed? And you say, hey, I'm here. I can do that job. Here's the number to call. Here's what I charge. I'm the best roof person around, whatever, right? How much does that cost? That's the sort of unknown element there, right? But you're starting with something you know. Now, you can get that message out on the internet for free. You don't have to spend any money on it, really. You could do a few internet posts. Maybe there's some groups up, or there's some hashtags, or there's some places on the internet where people look for roofers, What's the cost of putting a post there? Probably zero, right? You're not going to reach millions of people, but you're going to reach a few people. The cost is zero. That's an example of something you could start up with no money. Literally, okay? So you're going to be in it for the long haul, okay? So number one, it's a learning curve. And if you don't know anything about business, you've never done this before, you're probably going to be in a little bit of a learning curve. So not spending a ton of money every time you try is a good thing. That's the first kind of principle. Incline. I'm also currently serving in the military. Okay, but I watch most of your videos made. Well, thank you. Thank you. And I hope it's working for you. And God bless. GV Log says, good morning, Bill. My question is that given two persons, one with an MBA and one with not, all else equal, how advantaged do you think the first person has in terms of a successful startup side hustle? How advantageous is an MBA? Oh, quite advantageous. Now, is it a hole-in-one? No, it isn't. Just because you have an MBA, that means you know the theory. You know the theory of marketing. Okay, the most important thing to know if you're doing a side hustle is marketing. Okay, there's many areas of business. They're all useful for different things, but for side hustles, marketing is going to be the most important, okay? Because especially if you're doing what I just suggested, you're starting with something you already know how to do. So operations is not really going to be much of a challenge because you can already do the thing that you're selling, right? The challenge is going to be selling it and selling it at a profit. So that's where marketing comes in, okay? Now, knowing the theory of marketing really helps, but the missing piece there is still the experience, okay? You're going to still need some experience. And you get the experience by trying things. It's just as simple as that, okay? Starting with the theory is good, and you definitely have an advantage over not understanding the theory, okay? A definite advantage. It's the difference between success and failure. But the point I'm trying to make is that just because you know the theory, it's not guaranteed that you can make a business work. You then have to have the experience doing that business. Okay, that's just that simple. But you add the theory with the experience, that's a hole in one. You will know what to do. Okay. But great question, GV Logs. That's a very intelligent question. Incline, I also want to start a great side hustle like drop shipping. All I need to get at least $5,000 to start my drop shipping business. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not super enthusiastic about drop shipping. I don't know that much about it personally. There's a lot of, I don't know. I'm going to share my feelings on this. They may or may not be accurate because, as I say, I'm not super familiar with drop shipping. I've never done it myself. But there's a lot of people that like to go into business being middlemen. Okay? I'm not actually going to create something. I'm not actually going to add a lot of value. I'm just going to take this and do it. Almost like it's like an arbitrage kind of thing. I don't know if people know what that is. But it's where you don't add a lot of value, and so that plus needing a ton of money to start it up, that sends off a couple of red flags to me. It doesn't mean it can't be successful. As I say, I don't know too much about the details of it, but that does not give me warm, fuzzy feelings right off the hop. If you were doing drop shipping, fine, without the $5,000 capital outlay, like where you have to spend it to get into the business, it would be okay. Getting into a business that requires $5,000 that you've never done before, if you got the money to spend, it could work, but be prepared for it not to go the way you expect it to go. Okay? And things like drop shipping, I don't think you need $5,000 to really do it. If you're doing it with Amazon or something, maybe they require that as to do it with them, right? But just to do drop shipping, period, I don't think you need to spend that kind of money to get into it. Incline, London is awesome. One time I used to go to the National Museum. Yes. I could not spend the time I needed in those museums. There's the Natural History Museum. There's a Science History Museum. A science museum, National Gallery. I went to the Tate Modern, which is modern art. Some stuff was cool. Some stuff I didn't really get. But there's so much stuff just within like 2 blocks or whatever in like central London. Just amazing. Giannis says, Giannis, that name is familiar. I think you've been here before. Hi, Mr. Bill. I watched almost all your videos and followed your instructions and got hired by a huge company. Thank you very much. Well, congratulations, Giannis. That must be a big relief to you. And the end of probably a job search that was certainly somewhat stressful. So I'm glad that looks like it's over. So way to go. Congratulations. Fair one, mate. Yes. Listen, anything that, requires a ton of money or a significant amount of money to start, I would really, really investigate it. I wouldn't jump in blind because, and just so you understand where I'm coming from, I've worked with a lot of startup founders, small business owners, and the startup founders that do like innovative type startups, it really is for them, it really is like a 95% failure rate, Now you're not quite doing an innovative startup, but the thing is that when these people spend a ton of money up front, usually it doesn't go the way they're expecting. So this is where the need to validate things comes into play. Okay. Now, if you came to me and you said, look, Bill, I have a background in drop shipping. I've been doing drop shipping for 5 years. I've made money with it. I've done different types of drop shipping. I've worked with different websites or whatever, different types of product. And I kind of know my way around. I've tried stuff and had it fail. I've tried stuff and had it succeed. So I kind of know what I'm doing when it comes to drop shipping. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to spend $5,000 to get into a certain type of drop shipping, some kind of partnership arrangement with this website. They're a well-known website, so that's not a concern. It's not like, they're legitimate and they have integrity. So that's not the issue. But I just have to sort of buy into this particular venture, and it's going to cost me $5,000. if you came to me and said that, I'd be like, sure, okay, I'm sure you know what you're doing. But if you came to me and said, I've never done drop shipping before, I've read about it, I think I know how it works, but I don't know from experience, but it's going to cost me this large amount of money to get in, then I'd be a lot more skeptical. Okay, and that's what I'm going on here, okay? It is possible to guess correctly, but most people don't. Okay, so, and the other thing is, just because something works for somebody else doesn't necessarily it's going to mean it's going to work for you. And I know that sounds very negative, but if something works for you, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for somebody else. Like, these situations, every situation is unique. You have to match the individual with their talents and skills, knowledge and ability, plus their interests. Some people are interested in doing certain things. Other people they find it boring. You got to match that with the current business opportunity right now. Okay. In a certain industry with a certain type of customer. Okay. So that's why each situation is unique. And that's why the best way to learn this stuff is through experience. And the best way to get the experience is to try things. And the best way to try things is to not spend a lot of money doing it, so that the only thing you risk is your time being wasted and your effort being wasted. But it's not really wasted because you're learning. So what I'd say, incline, what I would recommend is see if you can find a cheaper way to get into that business. If that's what you really want to do, okay, there's nothing wrong with it. But see if there's a way that you could get in without having to spend that kind of money immediately, okay? Maybe it's not the full version of what you'd like to do. Maybe you're not working with the website that you really want to work with, but you can work with other websites, but it's free, okay? Maybe it's possible to do something like that, okay? I would investigate that. Gotta get your chops, get some experience under your belt, get some realistic expectations, understand more what you're getting into, and then it would make more sense if you're going to drop the cash to get into this arrangement. Do it then. That's what I'd recommend. And I'm so jealous of the fact that you're in London right now. Although I have heard that now they charge you to drive in London. There's I heard that there's like rings, like emanating out from downtown, and depending on what part of the city you're in, you have to they charge you for driving a car there. Driving in London was always really hard, but I've heard they've taken it to a whole new level these days. Incline, I do most of the research, but I agree on what you're saying. What do you think on starting an easy side hustle online? I'm also thinking about affiliate marketing, though. Yeah, I mean those certainly can work. Yes, like affiliate marketing is a well-known thing. I don't do affiliate marketing, but I know many other people do, and they seem to make a success of it. So it's certainly a valid idea, and it's certainly doable. It's not the hardest business challenge there is, just based on the fact that so many people are doing it successfully. But yeah, the great thing about those is that, as far as I know, they don't require a ton of money to just jump into. So yeah, why not? And the great thing about online stuff is, for certain types of people, it's a godsend. For introverts, it's really cool. For people who have very demanding day jobs, or maybe in your case in the military, it's something you can do realistically from where you are. It doesn't matter where you are, as long as you have an internet connection and a little bit of time, you can do it. So it's practical. Okay, if you're an extrovert type that just loves talking to people and they hate being alone in a room with a computer, it may not be that your type of thing, but the fact that you're here suggests that you're not that type of person. So yeah, it sounds good. Yusef says, congratulations, Janice. Same happened to me. I followed Mr. Bill's advices and instructions. I got hired by a very big company in the US. We have 26 branches in the US and in Canada. Many thanks, sir. Well, if you're in Canada, then you're made, right? I can tell you that right now. No, that's great. Congratulations, Yusuf. Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, I guess the driving thing. I'm also an introvert too. Yeah, well, this like online stuff, as I say, is absolutely cool for many, many reasons. One is that there's never been a way until the internet came along, until social networking came along, to be able to just reach literally millions of people for free, for practically free. I mean, if you have an internet connection and a device, if you got that much, being able to then reach literally millions of people, it's never been possible before. In order to do that before, you have to shell out astronomical amounts of money. It was prohibitive for individuals. You know, the other great thing is that it's great for introverts. If you want to do sales and you want to network, you know, you want to get your message out, but you're not a super extroverted person. You don't want to knock on doors and you don't want to meet 1,000 people face to face and shake everyone's hand and you know, give a sales pitch. That's not you. You fear that kind of thing. You don't feel you're very good at it. It'd be like you'd be in living hell having to do that. Social networking is an absolute godsend. You know, you can do it from, you know, your office, from your house or your apartment, anywhere in the world. You can do it by yourself. It's the next best thing to actually interacting with people. No, it's so this is the opportunity. Right? I mean, I'm talking to you on YouTube. I mean, where can you reach like literally millions and millions of people without having to spend any money? You know, it's social networking sites like YouTube and, you know, Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and, you know, all those kind of things that make this possible. So if that becomes a key part of how you do your side hustle, I think it's great. GV Log says, thanks for your insight, Bill. How about growing a YouTube channel? What are your top, maybe 3 personal tips, reflections on how you went from zero? How do you plan to grow your channel even further? Yeah, I've been asked that before. Here's what I'll say. And I kind of said this last episode, a bit, but there are tons of resources on YouTube for how to do YouTube. And in my experience, they've pretty much been all misinformation. I've heard all kinds of things like you have to, like, what is it on videos? You know, what's the metric where like it tells you how long people watch your video? The term escapes me at the moment, but it's like there's a click-through rate, you know, is a certain percentage, you know, so however many people see the thumbnail, however many of those click it, that's a click-through rate. The other one was, I think it's viewer retention or something like that, where it's like, on average, do people watch 50% of your video or 75% of video or 10% of your video? So like those are examples of some metrics. Now, I've heard everything under the sun about like, oh, if you have to have this metric, like your click-through rate must be at least this percentage, or your viewer retention must be at least this. And then if it is, YouTube will make it go viral or something. It's like, no, incorrect. None of those metrics matter. The only thing that matters is that if somebody sees your videos, it's about their behavior. Do they want to come back and watch another one of your videos? If nobody ever wants to come back and watch another one of your videos ever again, then it's not a hit. If they see a video of yours and want to come back for more, then that's a hit. And I mean, that's what matters in the real world. Like if you have a customer, the reality of many industries is that you can get a customer to give you a chance. Okay. So say you're a roofer, right? Say you're somebody that, you know, I offer my services as a handyman, or, you know, I fix roofs or basements or kitchens or whatever, right? It's not that hard to get somebody to give you a try. Okay. If you get out and you start spreading your message, maybe you have a good sales pitch, whatever, you get people to try you. Okay. They hire you for one job. You do one transaction. The big test is, after having dealt with you, would they hire you again? Okay. Because let's pretend that when you were doing your sales pitch, you were lying through your teeth. Nothing you said was genuine. You have no personal integrity. You'll say absolutely anything to get someone to sign a contract with you. Okay, let's pretend that's how you operated for a second. Okay, you could get customers, but how many of those customers would give you repeat business? Very few, okay? On the other hand, if you're not that good of a salesperson, you're not that persuasive, you're not that glitzy and glamorous and, at selling things, so you only get a few bites. But of the people that become your customers, that do like one transaction with you, they give you a try. If they absolutely love you, they think like, wow, you're the best. And from now on, whenever I need this, I'm coming to you. Like, I'm not even going to call anyone else. I'm not even going to investigate anyone else. I'm going to you, right? You are now my default supplier for this, whatever it is. Okay. Imagine if you had that effect. Okay. You would grow. Okay. You would grow, period. You know what I'm saying? You would spread, even if your marketing wasn't there, you'd spread through word of mouth. Right. So that's like the biggest metric. Okay. And the name for that is quality, right? What you provide, whether it's a product or a service, it's high quality. The world never tires of high quality things. The world is not saturated with high quality things. They're still very few and far between. And so if you can do something really well, doesn't matter what, doesn't matter that much how good you are at selling, at least in the beginning, you will be a success. And the reason I'm saying this is because I was asked about YouTube. YouTube just reflects that. It's just like the rest of the real world. If you do a video that is really good and people watch it, and when they watch it, they go, oh, this is awesome. I want more. I'm going to come back and watch every video this person has. That's what the game is about. Now, specifically, what do you do to achieve that? Well, there's many, many things. And I certainly don't know them. But whatever video results in that effect, okay? That's what you have to do on YouTube. And that's what you have to do on any side hustle. Right? That's the name of the game. There are a lot of people out there that are in business that I just don't get it. They take this approach that like it's like a con. You have to, you can lie, you can make all kinds of false statements trying to sell something, and then you just have to keep doing that, right? And they think that's like how you're in business. They also believe in cutting costs. They don't believe in quality. They believe in producing something as cheaply as possible. And then they believe in, misrepresenting themselves as a way of fooling people to get them to buy it. And they think that's business. And ultimately, those people are not successful. They're never successful in the end. Any success that they have is temporary. It doesn't last. And it comes with a ton of problems. Okay? If every customer you've ever served is now angry with you and hates you, you're going to have problems. Now, in business, this stuff shows up as like things like warranty claims, customer complaints, things like this, like stuff you can actually measure, tangible things. And then there's like a whole bunch of intangible stuff. You've got that negative goodwill out in the market, people spreading word of mouth that they shouldn't hire you, things like this. So, what I'm saying? Quality is the thing that you have to worry about. If you can do something well and you're honest about it, it's hard to go wrong in the long term doing that. That's kind of how these things work. Anyway, coming back to the original question from GV Logs was like they're asking for your top personal reflections, maybe 3 personal tips. Okay, number 1, quality matters. Okay, that's number 1. Whatever you do, shoot for the effect that when people consume whatever offering you have, whether it's a product or service, in this case, it's a video, have them delighted. and want to come back for more. Okay. Number 2 for YouTube, as stupid as it sounds, the thing that everybody always says, like, be consistent, keep producing videos on a steady schedule. There is something to that. YouTube seems to care about whether you put out stuff on a regular basis or not. So what I found is that it goes a bit better if you put out at least one video a week. And I don't know what the third one would be, but I mean, that's basically it. You do that, you're fine. Youssef says, no, sir, I'm in Manhattan. Our company had 26 branches also in Canada. No, I realize that. But once your company is in Canada, it's made. It's a fine, upstanding company that deserves our respect. It was a joke. It was a joke, Youssef. But that's okay, because we all know you're a fine, upstanding person. Santa Trinita says, hello there, Bill. Is it better to make side income by selling your products or by doing e-commerce or affiliate marketing? General advice. Well, there is no answer to that. I mean, they all work. The only question is, for you, in your situation, which one would be more appropriate to you, right? For example, some people want to do products. They want to make things. They have a talent for making things. They can make something of considerable value to other people. So obviously for them, going the product way is their way of doing things. I mean, e-commerce, that's not a thing. That's just a way of making money. We could do it. We could sell things online, or we could sell things from a brick and mortar store. I mean, so it's not really a thing. You can make money with it, or you can fail to make money with it, depending on circumstances. So there is no answer. And affiliate marketing, I mean, once again, it depends what you're doing, what products you're doing, and how you're doing it. So unfortunately, that question is so general that it's unanswerable. Sorry, Santa. It depends on specifics. It depends on what your talent is, what your abilities are, what the opportunities before you are, and what your options are. It's like saying, should I go into banking or should I go into resource production? It's like, well, you can make money in both. Now, if you're a fully qualified banker and you live in, say, New York City, that would probably be the thing to choose. On the other hand, if you've got a master's degree in chemical engineering and you have 10 years working in mines and oil fields, and you live in rural Alberta or something, then obviously resource production would be the thing for you. So like, they both could work depending on your situation. Okay. But those are good questions. That's the beginning of like learning this stuff. Okay. It has been 38 minutes, so I'm going to have to wrap this up soon. My original idea is that these are going to be about half an hour, and I'm doing them on Mondays and Thursdays. So if you have any last minute questions, please ask them in the chat, because we only have another minute or two left. But yeah, this is the thing. You learn stuff by trying things, okay? So these kind of questions are great questions. The only way you're going to get actual answers for them, for you, is by trying it, okay? And the way to try it is to find a way to do it without spending a ton of money, okay? Because, that's how this stuff works. If you know a bit of theory, that will certainly help, okay? That will certainly help. There's a lot of, it's funny, there's a lot of artists out there, that are trying to do a creative endeavor of some kind. And they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to get popularity. They don't know how to get the message out. And really what they're doing is they're doing an entrepreneurial venture. That's what they're doing. They're selling a unique product, and they have to do the marketing. They probably have the operation side down. They have their product down, whatever it is they're selling. But it's essentially a business. So if you have an artist that knows business, you stand a much, much greater chance of making it. Peter Maina says, what's the best way to sell software? Sorry, Peter, I couldn't ask you that. I don't know if someone else, I couldn't answer that. I don't know if someone in the chat knows. I was in the IT industry like 20 years ago. It's completely different now, completely different. You know, so I could tell you what you would do 20 years ago, but that would be useless. So, but the way to do is to get answers to these. I mean, you start by doing research online. That's the easy part, right? You Google some of these things. Then you observe what other companies are doing, okay? That also is like a no-brainer. You can see that, okay? But if you want to get more specific information, one way to do it is to get on LinkedIn, okay? This is how I've done stuff, and I've recommended people do stuff that's worked for them, is you get on LinkedIn, you connect with people in the software business. So for example, in your city or your region, there will be small software companies, okay? And what you can do is using the magic of LinkedIn and Google Maps. Let's do this. You know what? Let's do this right now. I know I've shown this before, but I'll show it again. Let's see, maps. Okay, here's kind of a starting point, or here's a tool that a lot of people find useful, okay? If you want to get answers, okay? So what is going on with this? Okay, so this is my city, okay? Right. Now, let's say I was in the software business, okay? I can type in software into the maps, right? And this is actually very slow for some reason, but in my region of the city, okay, it's coming up with some stuff. Maybe if I zoom into a certain part of the city here and I say search this area, okay, bam. Okay, so here's a software company, Bison Software. It doesn't look very big. It looks like somebody's house. But, you know, like this is a residential area. So, but you see, you got all these different people doing software. Now, maybe if you go to a more commercial part of the city, you would actually get, yeah, here we go. We got bigger companies. Okay. I mean, I just typed in software. Now, you would do multiple searches for IT, for specific types of software. And here you go, Economy Pawn Shop. There you go. Static Industries, Dynamic Technologies Group. So here, like, look at this. Dynamic Technologies Group. I have no clue what this is. So here you go. It gives you their name. It gives you their website, right? There'll be a website here somewhere, or maybe not. But normally you get a website. Okay, but you at least have the name. What you can then do is go to LinkedIn, type in the name of that company, look at the individuals. And if you see someone that's the owner or the CEO or the general manager, someone like that, you can contact them. You could send them a message. You could say something along the lines of, you know, hey, I would absolutely love to get half an hour of your time just to ask you a few questions, general questions about the software industry and where you think it's going, you know, something like that. Now, if you did that kind of thing to all these companies, okay, you made a list of all the different companies, say 100 different companies, and then you found the contact information for all the people that are in decision-making positions at those companies, and you sent them all messages. Now, most would not reply, but, you know, a certain percentage would. In my experience, when I've done this, 20 to 30% of people respond. And so if it was 100 companies, you'd have 20 or 30 people saying, you know, yeah, let's talk. So you could either have a phone call if you want it to be really cheap, or you could go out and meet them. You go to their office. You then follow up and say, you know, like, you suggest a time, date, and place, and I will meet you. And, you know, usually it's like a local Starbucks or something like that. And you can get information directly from the people that are in the software business in your town, presumably in an industry that, you know, you're wanting to do or you're wanting to learn about. And you can ask them whatever you want. You can ask them all kinds of specialized questions. What's their experience been doing things? How does this work? What's the biggest challenge? Stuff like that. You could run ideas past them and say, what do you think if somebody tried to do this? What would be your thoughts on how that would go? You know, you can get information like this, and this is a great resource. Will it all be super, super useful? No, but a lot of it will be. And, you know, you can even do things like this to get you started. Okay, so even though I mean, I don't have the answers to every question, but That's kind of the thing where you can get answers on practically everything from people who know, not people who think they know or purport to know, people who know because they're the ones actually doing it. Okay? So there you go. You're absolutely welcome, Das. That's very nice of you to say. QSR, I'm back. I don't know what you have discussed until now. I believe that side hustle highly depends on the country you live in. Okay. It depends how dead or alive your area country sales side is. Well, once again, you see, like, this is the thing. If you feel that you're in a country or an area that is dead to whatever industry, you're interested in doing, get online. This is the great thing about the internet. You have access to the global market. You could sell stuff all over the world. If people are not buying what you're selling in your area, you can go outside of it. I mean, if my YouTube channel only went to my home city, it wouldn't really make any sense, right? And I certainly wouldn't make any money off it. So, you go globally. And that's possible for anyone with an internet connection and a device to do. Very interesting advice. Thank you so much. You're absolutely welcome, Yvonne. And you're welcome, Peter. That's kind of all I have time for, unfortunately, today. Thank you so much for showing up. There's 36 of you guys here. I will be back on Thursday for another one of these streams for Side Hustle Ideas. If you have any questions, join me on Thursday, same time, and ask them in the chat, and I will be happy to help you if I can. Thanks very much, and take care, everyone. You're awesome.